Good morning. So today we are going to discuss about the concept of the sexual reproduction. So here we are going to learn about the sexual reproduction in two parts. So let us discuss about the part one. So in the part one, we are mainly focusing on the sexual reproduction. So in this, we have to learn what is the meaning of sexual reproduction, what are the different types of fertilizations and reproduction in human beings, and as well as the external fertilization, means reproduction in the aquatic animals. So we are going to discuss in this lecture. So first of all, we have to discuss about the mechanism in the sexual reproduction. So usually in sexual reproduction, there are two organisms are involved. It must be one male organism and the another one is female organism. Okay. So in this, gametes are produced from the reproductive organs from the respecting male and the female organisms. The process of formation of the gametes is known as a gametogenesis. If it takes place in the male organism, it is called as a spermatogenesis, whereas in female organism, it is called as a ovulation. So after the formation of the gametes, now the fusion of gametes will take place in external sources. In some organisms, the fusion of gametes can take place inside the body of an organism. So the process of fusion of both male and the female gametes we term as fertilization. The fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. So if fertilization occurs outside the body of an organism, it is called external fertilization. So based upon the mode of fertilization, means if fertilization can happen inside the body of an organism, it is called as the external fertilization. For example, aquatic organisms like frog and fish. So we have observed external fertilization in frog and fish. If fertilization occurs inside the body of an organism, it is called internal fertilization. So means here what happened? Both the male and the female gametes were fused inside the body of an organism. So here in some means especially in majority of organisms, the fusion of male and female gametes will take place in female reproductive organ. So this type of fertilization is called internal fertilization. So example for the internal fertilization is terrestrial animals. So here, after the completion of the fertilization, the newborn organism, we call it as an offspring, means in the offsprings, it may have father and mother characters, and sometimes in some of the organisms may not have both mother and father characters in offsprings. So usually the male organism carries the paternal chromosomes, whereas a female organism carries that, means the gamete carries that maternal chromosomes. After the fusion of these paternal and maternal chromosomes resulting to the formation of the zygote. So here, now the zygote can carry both the characters of parents. Sometimes here what happened, if it carries the recessive characters of their forefathers. So here what happened, the recessive characters which are present in the both male and the female organ, means in the parental generation, now it should be expressed in the newborn offsprings. So let us discuss about that external fertilization in aquatic animals. So as early we mentioned that external fertilization means if the fertilization can take place outside the body of an organism. So that is called as external fertilization. So usually the external fertilization can take place in the aquatic animals. So means the fertilization will takes place in surroundings, means especially in water. The female lays a vast number of eggs in water and male releases some millions of sperms on them. So means here what happened? The female organism means the female aquatic organism which performs that external fertilization, it lays a number of eggs into the water. And meanwhile, during the season, here what happened? The male organism can also releases the millions of sperms on them. So as the chance of fertilization is controlled by nature, so it is inevitable to give rise to vast number of eggs and sperms. For example, the organisms which performs the external fertilization is frog and fish. So now we are going to discuss about that the organisms which performs that internal fertilization. The best example in our textbook about that internal fertilization is the human beings. The human beings are the best example for we have to learn about that how the internal fertilization can take place, how the fertilization process can take place in the human beings. So before we are going to discuss about that internal fertilization, so let's focus on the reproductive systems respecting both male and female organisms. So we are going to discuss the male reproductive system in man. So this is a pictorial representation of the male reproductive system in man. So here, if we observe the male reproductive system, so here there are two testes are located outside the body in a sac-like structure that is called scrotum. So the scrotum helps in maintaining 2 to minus 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the body temperature. So which is necessary to sperm formation. So that is the reason the testes are located outside the body of an organism. So here, if we observe why the testes are located outside the body of an organism. First, suppose if the testes are embedded with the body. So here what happened? Usually the human normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. But the sperms requires so below 37 degrees Celsius temperature for its live and active condition. Though the testes are located outside the body of an organism which are present in a sac-like structure called scrotum. Testis secretes the testosterone hormone. We know that the testosterone hormone is the male sex hormone. It helps in the male reproductive organs and control the secondary sexual characters in males. We know that what are the secondary sexual characters. So means in our earlier classes, we learned about the development of sexual characters, secondary sexual characters in male and females at the age of puberty. Each testis have several lobules and each lobule contain several seminiferous tubules. The cells in the seminiferous tubules produce haploid sperm cells by meiosis cell division. So here the seminiferous tubules are lined with the geminal epithelium. This geminal epithelium undergoes the meiotic cell division for the formation of male reproductive units called sperms. So means the sperms are produced by the process called meiosis cell division. We know that the importance of the meiosis cell division. So means here in meiosis cell division, here what happened? The chromosome number is reduced to half. Means initially in the seminiferous tubules, the geminal epithelium having the 2n state of chromosomes. Before formation of the sperm cells, the state of the chromosomes in the geminal epithelium is 2n state. So means it is a diploid cell. Due to the meiotic cell division, here what happened? The diploid set of chromosomes are reduced to half. Means here the reductional cell division takes place in the reproductive organs for the formation of reproductive units. Hence, the sperms receives half amount of the chromosomes from its parents. The seminiferous tubules open into a vas afferentia. So here the vas afferentia, which carries the spermatozoa into epididymis. We know that the human male reproductive system, it is constructed with a series of tubes. So in that, seminiferous tubules will come and the vas afferentia is also comes. So here the vas afferentia, it opens from the seminiferous tubules, and here it collects the spermatozoa. In other words, we can say that the sperms are opens into the vas afferentia. We forget one point. The process of formation of the sperms from the seminiferous tubules is called as a spermatogenesis. So after the spermatogenesis, now the sperms will enters into the vas afferentia. The vas afferentia carries spermatozoa into epididymis. So here the epididymis, it is a coil tube which located along the posterior side of the testis. Here the sperms are stored temporarily. The temporary storage of the sperms in the testis is epididymis. So epididymis is a coil tube-like structure. It located the posterior part of the testis, and here the sperms are stored temporarily. From each epididymis, the vas differentia, the long tube-like structure is arised. Don't get confused. From seminiferous tubules, vas afferentia arises into the epididymis. From the epididymis, the vas differentia, another long tube-like structure, it is arises. I think it's clear. So now the vas differentia, it travels through abdominal cavity, looping around the ureters. So it looping around the ureters. Seminal vesicles opens into vas deferens. So the human male reproductive system, it contains some accessory glands. So in that, the seminal vesicles are one of the accessory glands. The seminal vesicles opens into vas deferens. The seminal vesicles produce a seminal fluid. So here the seminal fluid is a source of energy for sperms. The sperms gets nutrients from the seminal fluid, and also the sperms it also gains the motility function from the seminal fluid. So here the seminal fluid it acts as a medium for the floating. A duct from each seminal vesicles arises and joins with vas deferens, and this duct continues as ejaculatory duct in male reproductive system. The two ejaculatory ducts join at the center of the prostate gland. So here the second accessory gland which is present in the human male reproductive system is prostate gland. So here the prostate gland open into the urethra. So means the two ejaculatory ducts which are arises from the seminal vesicles, and these two ducts are joined at the prostate gland, and finally these two are opens into the urethra. So here the prostate gland can also secrete some secretions. Okay, so the secretions from the seminal vesicles and the secretions from the prostate gland, these two commonly enters into the urethra. These secretions activate sperms and provides nutrients for the sperms. So means the secretions from the seminal vesicles means the seminal fluid, and the secretion from the prostate gland which provides nutrients for the sperm cells. The third accessory glands which are present in the human male reproductive system is a pair of corpus glands. Here the corpus gland secretions which helps in neutralizing the acidity and also provides the lubrication during the copulation process. So in males, the urethra it is a common passage for both urine and sperms. Hence, it is called as urinogenital duct. From the urethra, the sperms expels out of the body into the uterus, means into the female reproductive system. So as earlier I mentioned, in the human male reproductive system, which having accessory glands. Usually the accessory glands are a pair of seminal vesicles and a pair of prostate glands and two corpus glands. Okay. So these are the accessory glands which provides the nutrients for the sperm cells and also which maintains the acidity in urethra, and also it gives the lubrication for the urethra during the copulation. So this is about that the human male reproductive system.